Welcome to Chapter Sass, the podcast where we deep dive into the books that make you blush, gasp, and maybe even think a little. I'm your host, Season, and with every book, I'll be joined with a new co-host with their own hot take. From spicy romances to messy love triangles, and all the glorious chaos in between, we're here with a fresh perspective to unpack the stories we love, question what we think we know, and explore how the book speaks to us. Things might even get a little sassy. This episode is rated mature and will contain spoilers. Let's get into the first chapter. Today we're discussing the last book in the Twisted series. We'll be covering Twisted Lies by Ana Huang. Let's get into the first chapter. Hi, Vanessa. This is our last time we'll be doing this. I'll be saying hi, Vanessa, for this series. How are you?
I know.
You've come along on a great ride with me. We've had a great conversations for the first 3 books. We're now going to be covering the last book, Twisted Lies. This
Mhm.
is for people who are listening, like, I have the book, so you can't like see it, but anyone who's actually read the book, they know that Twisted Lies is like the thickest book. It's like the most pages. So just for time's sake, like I'm definitely gonna cover like all like the important things and main topics, but there are some scenes that I or stuff that I have to leave out, or I might like if something was a little bit more important until it actually was important, like I won't necessarily mention it, but that's just for the sake of time. Otherwise, we would be here for like 20 hours. So, um, so it was kind of like you gotta
Right.
just pick the most important stuff out of the book. All right, so we start off and we meet the last of the 4 friends. So we meet Stella Alonso, and
Mhm.
she's packing up after a photo shoot. Not only is she a social media influencer, but she's also an assistant at the fashion magazine DC Style. And she's on her way home and she's just thinking of a letter that she got from Greenfield, which is an assisted living facility, about increasing their rent on a private room. Mora, who practically raised Stella, is at the assistant living facility. And Stella has kept this a secret from her family and friends, and she's been paying for her care. And I believe it said it went up to like $6,000 or something. So, you know, she has to pay an extra on top of her regular bills that she has. This would be like an additional. It's like 6,000, or it's somewhere around there. So like that's like a huge chunk of change for someone just like there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it's like winter, so Stella's like walking home in a snowstorm, and Christian Harper pulls up next to Stella and drives her home. And as a reminder, Christian owns the building that Stella lives in and is essentially her landlord. And we learned in the last book that Jules moved out. We learned in Jules' book they could barely afford it, and the rent was like dirt cheap for no reason. But the
Yeah.
only reason why, since even Jules moved out, that Stella's able to afford living there is because Christian told Stella that she could take care of his plants and it would cover Jules' rent.
No
Like
big deal.
also, like, not sketch, like, sure, the rent was supposed to be, like, $10,000, and he lowered it to, like, what was, like, 3,200 or something, and now he's like, "Oh, don't worry
It's
about
just for
Jules."
half.
Yeah.
Like
Also,
a
I forgot to
$1,500 rent.
oh, yeah. Also, I forgot to say, what are you drinking at the
Oh,
beginning?
I'm drinking a Sprite, a green for Twisted Lies.
And I have a green smoothie because we'll learn that Stella likes matcha, green grass, lemon stuff, so a green smoothie for me.
Yeah.
Anyways, back, but yeah. So she's living in this like amazing apartment for like $1,500. So, you know, nothing seems sus on that or anything. So once they're back at um their house, when Christian like pulls into like the lobby or whatnot, Dante, an associate of Christian, meets Stella. And we did meet Dante in the last book briefly, but Dante gives Stella like a kiss on her hand, and Christian gets jealous. Mind you, Stella and Christian have only interacted 3 times, like 2 of them were rent purposes. So the other time was Bridget's wedding. So why is he getting jealous? Like he shouldn't even be getting jealous. Stella heads back
Yep.
to her apartment, but she gets the feeling that someone's watching her, and she hasn't had this feeling for about 2 years when she had a stalker, but she, like, looks around and she can't find anyone. And now we go into Christian's chapter, and Christian is, like, mad at Dante for touching what is his, AKA Stella, but again, he's technically only met Stella, like, 3 times up until this point. Like, yes,
His.
met in quotations, yes, I love that. We're putting the word met in quotations. We do get some information on Dante's life, which will be covered in his book, King of Wrath, which is part of the King of Sin series by Ana Huang. I haven't read them, but I will honestly, I'm gonna read them at some point. I am very curious about it, so I'll be reading that. And Dante has to figure out, like, he's there trying to figure out how he can get rid of this ugly painting from Josh called the Magda. The world believes that this painting was painted centuries ago and is worth a lot of money, but in reality, it's worthless and it just means something to Christian. And in the last book, we have to remember that, like, because people thought it was so important, Jules had to, like, steal it from her ex-boyfriends. Like, this painting has just, like, brought a whole bunch of drama to this friend
Yeah.
group. We find out that Christian could care less about the plants that Stella's keeping alive. He just didn't want her to move out. And Christian thinks this, and I'm quoting, it's like twin flames of resentment and frustration burned in his chest. He was weak for Stella Alonso and hated it. So again, he's only met her in quotes 3 times. So it's just like, how are you feeling all this about her?
I know. Doesn't believe in love at first sight, but
But doesn't
yes,
believe, yeah.
of course.
We also learned that when Christian gets stressed or mad, he, like, takes down people digitally. So, and it's like people who deserves it. So, like, he's, like, stressed right now. So he's, like, digitally, like, he's, like, sending proof about how the CEO was, like, taking advantage of his staff, like, sexually. So he's, like, taking money. I don't know if he's trying to be like Batman. I don't know, but something like take down the bad guy in his way, even though he's like a vigilante. So yeah. Anyways, while he's talking, Christian, like, has this ring in his purse. It's a turquoise ring, and he keeps it in his pocket, or his purse. I'm sorry. He keeps it in his pocket at all times.
I
I
didn't
know I
catch
said
that.
purse. He keeps it in his pocket, and he like touches it too. Like, this ring gives him comfort. So Stella's a journal writer, and so some chapters, like, start off with her writing in her journal and, like, what she's grateful for. But I do think this was a way of readers to figure out, like, how much time has passed, because she, like, writes it in the beginning, like, July, whatever, August. It's August 10th. So I think in this book it did really good because it showed us how much time passed, and on the other books we really didn't get that unless they said 5 months passed. So
Yeah.
it's now February, and Stella is writing about how much she wants to land the Delamonte brand ambassador position, and this will help with all her money problems. And she can finally afford Greenfield. She really wants this uh, brand ambassador position, but she's kind of scared about it because her follower count has not grown in a while. And so at the end of the day, it's social media. Like, she does have to have a good follower count for her to get this. So she's, like, very skeptical if she's, like, even going to get this. But it's not the Delamonte dinner, which is an audition for the brand ambassador position. And of course, Christian just happens to know Louisa, she's the CEO of the Delamonte group. And he shows up, and of course, he's seated right next to Stella, because where else would he sit? Stella's just worried about the dinner because there are 2 other influencers taking up all like the CEO's time, and they have a lot of followers. It also just happens that these 2 influencers are dating each other. So Christian, at the end of the dinner, Christian walks Stella back to her hotel, and there's just a little flirting going on. But once back in her room, Stella realizes that she missed many text messages and phone calls from her boss at DC Style. Now it's Monday, and when Stella goes back to work, she finds out she's fired. And she's fired because she was in the background of one of the other influencers' posts at the Delamonte dinner. And the Delamonte, like, brand is considered a competitor of DC Styles. So now Stella is extremely worried about finances. And she's also just remembering how, like, her family doesn't approve of her wasting her degree on fashion or her being a social media influencer or any of this. So she's just like
Mhm.
panicking on the inside. And she has anxiety. Like in this book, like she's like an influencer, and so she's like always out there, but she actually like has anxiety. There are multiple scenes where she's like has to tell herself to like breathe and like calm down. And so
Mhm.
like right now she's just kind of having like a little anxiety attack. She like doesn't know what she's gonna do because she has rent she has to pay. She has Greenfield she has to worry about her. She hasn't told her family, so it's just a lot. But Brady, Stella's brand manager, calls her and asks how like dinner went, and Brady tells Stella that like right now couples are what's in, and if she would like to get a boyfriend, whether he was real or fake, that could help her make the million, move her follower count to the $1 million mark. You know, just pretty much get a boyfriend for publicity. He's like actors do it all the time when they're like dating. You know, when they say they're dating because the movie's coming out, but they're not really dating. Like she just needs to do the same. So Stella goes on a few dates to find like a fake boyfriend, and all of the guys are like assholes. Like one dude was like, "Yeah, I charged like $10 million to post something for charity," and Stella's like, "But it's charity, and like your time, it's like
It's
way
not
less. Like
charity.
that's yeah, it's like not even worth like whatever you can do." So like Stella's like, "These guys are just jerks." So they're like at a bar or whatnot, and like the dude leaves, and Christian shows up and he sits next to Stella. And Stella just explains to Christian like why she needs a fake boyfriend. She lost her job, she needs a follower account, and Christian tells Stella, okay, well, you need money, and I need a companion, someone who can accompany me to functions. They are a necessary and unfortunate part of like his business because like he needs to like network. So they
Yeah.
make the deal that Stella, will be Christian's companion to, like, all his, like, work events, and he will be her fake boyfriend. But they have a few stipulations. First stipulation is
There's always rules
always rules that they break.
that don't get followed, yeah.
Um, Christian does not want his face on social media. He takes people down for a living digitally, so, like, he doesn't want his face out there. However, she can show, like, his back, his hands, anything but his face. And Christian's pretty much like, I'm a billionaire CEO. Like, people are gonna know you and me are together, even if like you don't show my face, like people will know. Stipulation number two, they engaged in physical contact only when necessary. So hand holding's okay. Kissing is permitted on a case by case basis and no sex. Um, I love how you're nodding. That didn't work
Mhm,
very well for them.
mhm. No.
They will continue this arrangement for as long as it's beneficial for both of them. If either one of them wants to end it for whatever reason, they have to give the other one 2 weeks' notice. And number four, no catching feelings. So because Stella doesn't have a job right now, she's able to visit Moira and spend more time with her actually because before like now she can visit her in visiting hours. Like before, she was always like she only got 15 minutes with her because of with her job. But she's on her way to Greenfield, and she again feels like someone's watching her, but there's no one there. So Moira has Alzheimer's, and she does not always remember Stella. And essentially, Moira's the one who raised Stella while her parents were busy getting their like building their careers. She was the one who was there for Stella like all the time. Like she was the one who picked her up from school. She was the one who went to her school plays, helped her with homework. You know, we're there for breakup for like all of these like milestones in her life. Like this woman was there for her. So like she Stella sees her as like a mother figure to her. But we
Mhm.
learned that Moira's daughter and husband died in a car accident about 6 years ago, and because of the Alzheimer's, she doesn't always remember it. And sometimes she thinks that they're alive, and so sometimes that determines if she's gonna have a good day or a bad day, like depending on when she can remember. Uh, but while she's like visiting Moira, she has to like leave because she has to get ready because they're gonna do their Christian and her gonna do their first like outing as companion for an event at the Smithsonian. And as Stella's getting ready, Christian shows up early, and he turns out he just like buys her this couture dress for the event. Like, would love that, but yes.
I know.
And while in the car ride to the event, like a strand of Stella's hair like falls and like Christian puts it back, and like they're both getting turned on by this, but then like Christian like turns away and he puts his hand on Stella's leg and she has like a slit. And so she takes a picture of that to post on social media to be like out on a date with my love. And
Mhm.
like now her followers know that she's dating someone. So while at the event, Christian's there because he's trying to just like land a deal. Because remember, he's the CEO of Harper Security, but also his biggest competitor, Sentinel Security, is also there. And we need to note that like Sentinel Security just took like two of the accounts from Harper Security. They weren't big accounts, but they were just two accounts nonetheless. And so while Christian is like networking, Stella goes missing, and I put missing in quotations because no, they're not ever really missing. Christian starts to like freak out. And but in reality, Stella was just in the bathroom. Someone had like spilled and stained the dress, and she's freaking out because it's a couture dress that was like $10,000. Christian's like, "You're not allowed to ever leave and not tell me that you're leaving." And he was like, "There are bad people in this world, Butterfly." That is his nickname for Stella, is Butterfly. And he like just tells himself like Stella means more to him than like she ever knows. So this kind of just like tells reader like, again, they've only met like 3 times before. Like, where are we, like how does she need so much? And like during this confrontation, of course, they're getting turned on. And the next morning, Jules and Ava like show up demanding to know who this boyfriend is because she like posted on social media.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
Bridget like FaceTimes in, and Stella just explains that they're fake dating. He's only helping her grow her follower count. Since she like posted that picture, she's got like followers and she's slowly going viral. So it's working. And so Christian is at home looking at the post of him and Stella, and he's not supposed to have like a social media account, but he has like his burner account. What do the kids call like the fake Instagram or whatever? Like when they have a fake account, he has that essentially. He's a grown ass man and he has this. So
Oh my god, it's gonna bother me now.
it's called something, but it's like your fake Instagram. It's
Yeah.
like it's like
Insta?
the one that you don't give your parents. He's looking at this picture, he's just screaming the word like mine, she's mine. He's already getting very possessive of her, and essentially again, they just met. We finally meet Cage in this book. We met him briefly in Jules' book, but we now meet Cage, and he's coming to visit Christian because he's curious of his new girlfriend Stella.
Mm.
Christian is like pretty much telling Cage like Stella's none of your business, like don't worry about her. And then he heads to his private social club where he's playing chess with none other than Alex. And now Alex is trying to get Christian or information from Christian, but Christian doesn't say much. But I think this is a very interesting, like how the friend dynamic is slowly working because Alex is like a CEO also, and so they're the billionaires, but it's also just showing that like the girls that they like are friends, and so they're slowly, their lives have to like involve each other. After the chess day, Christian heads home and he finds his apartment door open. And so he's like pissed off and he like runs in on the intruder and like pins them up against the wall just to find out that it's Stella watering the plants because that was like the agreement. She had like forgotten to do it at some point, so she like was freaking out and like went to go water the plants. They get into an argument, but they're getting into an argument, but they're a little turned on, but they're getting into an argument, and Stella's like, whatever, and like gives him his key, and she's just like, I'm done. And so she goes to her apartment, which is right downstairs because they live in the same building. And as she's like
Mhm.
looking for like her keys to get into her apartment, when she gets in, she finds an envelope in her purse and it says, you were supposed to wait for me, you didn't. And it's been 2 years since Stella Stalker like has contacted her, but he's back. And she starts to have like a major panic attack. Like she like crawls under the table. She's like hyperventilating. She's just like trying to breathe. She's like thinking about all these. She's like, "Where's my taser?" Whereas she's like, freaking out, which I would too. But
Yeah.
as she left, Christian was like, "Shit, I need to fix this." So he was actually like going after her. So he's like
Mhm.
knocking on the door and she's not responding, and he knows that like she didn't pass he knows that like she went to her house and like she hasn't like passed him to come back out. So when he's like knocking and no one's answering, he like lets himself in and he finds her like having a panic attack and he like starts to like try to comfort her. And then he like finds the letter and he gets pissed and he goes into like protection mode. So he calls
Mhm.
Cage and tells Cage that he needs to stay the night with her. And Cage is like, "Isn't she your girlfriend? Shouldn't you protect her?" But again, he doesn't know if they're like fake dating. Uh, it's the next morning and Stella's freaked out. She has like a fashion event to go to. Stella doesn't know that like Christian has Cage, and now it's not just Cage, but it's another employee, Brock, like taking turns following her right now. And they're supposed to be like discreet, but essentially they're just supposed to make sure like nothing happens to her.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Uh, while she's at this fashion event, Stella just like remembers how she used to always like draw and how her dream is to like have her own fashion line. And she like misses sketching. And while she's like just thinking of all this and she's like heading back home, her sister calls her and tells her that like family dinner has moved up a week because the dad, he's like the Secretary of State or is like the assistant to the Secretary of something, some important job. And he's going on a business trip, so they need to move their monthly family dinner up. And Stella does not have the best relationship with her family. They have very high expectations. Like, if your last name's like Alonso and you're part of the Alonso family, like you're supposed to be important. Natalia, I love this family dynamic, but like I'm sure like she's the VP of like a banking thing. The mom is like this high environmental like lawyer. Dad, again, something's like Secretary of State, something political.
Yeah.
Um, and the family, they've seen the picture of like Christian's hand, so like they want to meet him, and Stella's like making up excuses. He's busy. You're moving up the work trip, like he can't come. So Christian like goes to visit Stella and they talk about some of her previous encounters with the stalker, the old letters. Christian takes a call. His back is turned at her apartment while they're like talking about like the stalkers. And Stella has like this stuffed unicorn.
Oh,
It's like her
yes.
comfort animal. It's like a purple stuffed
Mhm.
unicorn. So she like takes a picture and she like does a post saying like, "Who would you cuddle more with?" And this helps increase her follower count. And the unicorn is like winning,
Unicorn.
and Christian's like, "How the fuck am I losing to this ugly ass stuffed animal?" After Stella finds the letter, she only goes out that one time to like meet up with the friend for like the fashion event. But since then, she has not had left her house since she got that letter. And it's been a week. And so Christian like lies and is like, "I need a companion to an art gallery." But he's just trying to get her at the house at this point because he's asked Cage and Brock like how she left and she hasn't. Christian doesn't like paintings or art, but like they're at this art gallery. And Christian like essentially grabs Stella and it's like somewhat sexual because of course it's not gonna not be sexual, and they're like hugging each other, holding, and this camera like takes, or this camera, this photographer like takes a picture of them, and apparently it's like I feel like it's like the Meghan Markle and Harry picture where she's like they're like holding their umbrella and they're walking, and that was like the it picture that like everyone knows. I feel like this is that picture, like this is the it picture for them too at this like art gallery. But then Stella like tells herself this isn't real because he's fake. Like they're fake boyfriend and girlfriend. Like none of this can be real.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So, after she decides that, she can leave her house again, life is going well for Stella. She's like feeling inspired. She's sketching more. She's almost at the million mark for followers. And she finally gets a call that she gets the Delamonte deal. She doesn't have to worry about Greenfield anymore. She's just like high on life right now. She's like, almost all my problems are solved. And then she heads home, and when she heads home, she realized her door was unlocked and she finds another letter from her stalker on her dresser. So immediately Stella calls Christian, and he heads to her right away. And since the stalker broke into the Mirage, which is supposed to be one of the most secure places in the city, Christian tells Stella, "You're moving in with me because no one's gonna get past like my security in my like apartment." And she doesn't like argue with it. She's just like, "Yeah," because like a dude was in my house, so she doesn't even feel safe in her own house anymore.
Yeah.
And now Christian is like pissed. So he's like calling the head of security. He's like wants all the security tapes. He's like trying to figure out like who entered and who left. But at this point, Stella is like frozen in like fear. I don't want to say frozen in fear, but she's like trying to
Shock.
comprehend. Yeah, she's in shock. She's trying to like comprehend everything. And so he
Mhm.
takes Stella to like his spare bedroom, but because no one ever comes in, like no one has ran that water. So like the pipes like smell when he tries to like give her a bubble bath. So he has to take her to her room or to his room because that's the only place where like the faucet's working. Um, and he gives her like a bubble bath, and Stella is pretty much like she's like too scared to sleep alone, like she needs him to stay. And honestly, this scene is like kind of romantic. Like he like washes her hair. Meanwhile, they're fake boyfriend or girlfriend, and she's like in this pool in this bathtub naked, but um,
I know.
like washes her hair. He like tries to calm her. He like puts lavender, it's supposed to be like soothing. He's like washing her. But then he gets turned on and he's like, "You need to leave. Like I can't be here." Um, so
Not even my boyfriend will wash my hair. I'm like, "Can you come wash my hair for me?" He's like, "Are you crazy?"
uh, well, also you don't have a stalker, so it's the circumstance.
I guess.
Christian like leaves to like go get her clothes because all her stuff's in the spare bedroom, and like he like wraps her in a robe, and she's just so tired. She like falls asleep in his bed with the robe, so she doesn't even change. None of this. Meanwhile, Christian is like going through the security footage and he can't find anything. He can't find how someone got in and out. The security is a little bit off and like the footage, and he's like the only device that could do that is a device that he made, which is the device that was close like what he gave to Jules when she like erased in her book when she like erased the sex tape off Max's computer. So he like just doesn't understand. So Christian's like this had to be an inside job or like someone is helping the stalker. He runs like way more background checks than everyone because he's like he just needs to know like who can be easily swayed, who could be blackmailed. um, During all this, like Christians also has so much on his plate because Sentinel's on the verge of taking another one of his accounts, and this account is a big account. It's not like the two small ones that they had taken before. But he doesn't even care. All he cares is like he's just putting Stella first. So that just goes to show, like, even though he's only met her a few times at this point, he does care for her, supposedly, I guess. And
Mhm,
now
mhm,
now Christian and Stella they essentially live together. So like now they're spending all their time together. Like he's like coming home like kind of early, to like cook with her or all these like so they're getting to know each other like very well. And Stella tells him that like her dream is to have her own fashion line. And Christian is like, I believe that's a good idea, but you need a business plan. And he'll help her with that. And like they're very close. And so he like almost kisses her like when he says that. So now they're just thinking about this almost kiss that happened because they're both turned on by each other. Because of the stalker note, Stella has a photo shoot that she has to do for the Delamonte like campaign, and Christian's like, "No, I'm going with you because I need to make sure that you're safe at all times." So
mhm,
while they're on his jet because they're flying to New York, they almost kiss again, but like the flight attendant or whoever like stops them. And then while they're at the photo shoot, like Stella for the first half is doing terrible. She's like getting in her head. She's just like not producing, she's not modeling great or anything. And so Christian
mhm.
pretty much just tells Stella, like, you can do anything that you put your mind to. Like, you're amazing. Like, what is the reason why you want to do this? And then he does kiss her. And this makes her like she does amazing after this. Like all she needed was a little kiss from her honey slash not honey because they're fake dating.
Well, she's a
Uh
baddie.
yeah. And so now that they're back at home, they don't know how to like act with each other. 'Cause it's, like, weird because they did kiss, but, like, they're fake dating, so, like, what are these lines? And Stella starts to work on her pre-interview with Julian, the lifestyle columnist at Washington Weekly. And Julian is a very important person, everyone, so we'll get back to Julian a little later. Christian comes home early that day, like, when she, like, gets off the phone with Julian, and he comes home early, and she's like, "Why are you home early?" And he's like, "Oh, we have to celebrate. You finally crossed the $1,000,000 mark." and he gives her a diamond watch. And Stella doesn't know what to do with this. And she's like, "This watch is expensive. You don't just give someone you're fake dating a diamond watch. Also, how did you get the diamond watch if I just hit a million followers like 2 seconds ago?" And so Stella's like, "Why are you doing this?" And then Christian says, "Because you're all I can fucking think about, no matter where I am or who I'm with. The thought of you hurt or upset makes me like go crazy." And he wants like burn his face to the ground. He's like, "I've never wanted someone more, and I've never hated myself more for it." And then he leaves because that's what instead of talking out our feelings.
All these guys for like they're always saying like, "Oh, I have no feelings," or like, "I don't believe in love," or all those things. It's like for guys who don't want to feel that way or have felt that way before, they're pretty good at being romantic and showing their feelings and just not saying it. Like clearly you're doing these things because you care about them.
Yep,
So, mm.
you are correct, Vanessa. You are correct. It is now Jules's and Josh's heart housewarming, and everyone is there. Uh, so somehow Bridget and Reese were able to get a day off and from being royalty. So they're all at the housewarming, and essentially the girls go chat in the bathroom, and the guys like grill Christian about like, is he gonna treat her right? And they're all like, because if you don't, like
All the girls
their
will be upset.
girlfriends are like date or they're best friends with her, so like they're not about to hear how bad this is. If you hurt her, like they're gonna have like they're very protective of her. And I was kind of like, oh, I mean, they're doing it for their own selfish reasons, but like because in any of the other books outside of like Ava being protective over Josh and Josh being protective over Ava, like none of them are really like protective elsewise of like each other.
Yeah.
So it's just like a nice little like, oh, the guys' friendship is slowly coming along here.
That was
They're just missing one person. So
that was like one of my favorite scenes in the book of like the guys having a little fight while this was happening. Like I forgot they were fighting, like Josh was getting jealous or something that because he found out that Alex and Christian played chess.
yeah, yep. And he's like,
Oh
that's
my
what
god.
I'm talking about is like bachelor party, whatever. Like I got the banana boat. Like how you supposed to? Yeah. They're like all the guys are just like arguing with one another. So yeah.
That was so funny. They were like I was like enjoying that scene so much because like Christian the whole time was like, "Oh my god, I cannot believe Stella is friends with these people." And then like Josh and Alex and Reese are just like it's like, "Okay, we're just like waiting for you to figure this out so you could just be like, yes, I understand now why you guys are like this." It's like it was funny.
No, I love it too. And again, it shows because the girls were all friends, so it just shows the guys like becoming friends.
Yeah.
Um, so it's a month later, and it's time for Stella to go to her family dinner again. So her sister Nat calls her, and it's a reminder to bring Christian. And Stella's like, she's getting ready, and so she puts her sister on speaker, and she's like, "Oh, he's not feeling well, so he can't come." And Christian overhears this, and then he says out loud in the speaker, like, so her sister can hear, like, "Oh, I'm feeling better and can come." And Stella's pissed. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, so she has no choice but to bring him along for like family dinner. During family dinner, her sister like tells everyone that like Stella got fired from her job of and that was mean to her sister because like that was definitely Stella's secret to say. Like she could have pulled her aside
Yeah.
separately and like talked to her, but like she says it, in front of the mom and dad. And so Stella is just like, at this point she's like, let me just confess everything. So she tells them that she's been paying for Morris Care from Greenfield. And then a lot of things were said between her and her family to each other. The most important thing that came out of this was that Stella's mom is like, "Why are you paying for an ex-employee's like care?" And Stella tells her mom that Moira was more of a mother than you ever were, and like again, things were said that shouldn't have been said necessarily.
Mhm.
And then Stella's dad is now pissed And to be fair, Stella's dad is protecting his wife, which is what you should do, right? Like, and he's like starts yelling at like Stella, and Christian involves himself and pretty much threatens the dad. Um, but Christian gives it to him straight, and he's pretty much like,
Yeah,
"Well, you guys weren't there." And Stella dad kicks him out. That is an interesting scene because I see like why Christian wanted to defend Stella, but I also think that was like not his time or place to do that.
kind of liked it.
Oh, I don't know. I think that like that is between them. Like he can be there and support, but like him threatening her father, and it's not like the father like put his hands on her. Like he's just yelling at her because he her, she hurt her mom, which is his wife. Like he's doing exactly what like Christian is doing to Stella, like the dad is doing for the mom. The
Yeah.
only difference is the mom and dad are actually married with children, and Christian and Stella are still fake dating. like, like you don't like enter a family's like business and that. I don't know. I don't think you should. But anyways, it is Stella's writing her journal, and it's now the end of April, and she's just writing about how grateful she is for Christian, for, like how he like stood up for her in all of this. So they're getting very very close right now. And the next photo shoot for Delamonte is in Hawaii, and Stella is packing a suitcase, and they're only gone for 3 days. And Stella's like, oh no, they're only gone for 2 days, and Stella's packing like three suitcases. And I'm gonna quote this because I could not have resonated more with this quote. But she says, "My hair care alone takes up an entire bag. Do you know how much havoc the beach and humidity wreak on curly hair? Let me tell you, if I go anywhere and it's more than like 2 or 3 days, I'm packing a lot because no, I can't just carry travel size anything for my hair. I don't know where we're going. Are they gonna have what I need? Like, I could not agree with this more. But what I love about this line though is, and we can talk about this like later, the author is Asian and she has written diversity so well. Like so well. And so every other author can also write more diverse characters, if we're being completely honest. So
I think so, for
yeah,
sure.
like any other author has no excuse. Like they you can write more diverse characters because I
Yeah.
don't know. I love this. Like literally like bolded in my notes, like underlined. It was like I resonate so well. This hair, you can't just go outside in it. Yeah,
Oh, we definitely pictured Stella with hair like yours,
yeah.
for
So
sure. Just like a little bit longer, but
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I feel like much longer. She's supposed to be like a model. I definitely think she has like longer hair. But yeah. Uh. So, anyways, while they're in Hawaii, Christian is like not satisfied with like the small hotel room that they gave Stella, so he gets the one bedroom villa. Because of course. Christian and Stella, like before like the photo shoot, like it's like the night before the photo shoot, they again are starting to get to know each other a little bit more. They're slightly opening up more to each other. I would say Stella's opening up significantly more than Christian is, but Christian does tell Stella that his parents are dead. So he's starting to like let her in. Christian decides that he's gonna let Stella do the photo shoots on her own. He has work to do, so like he does work like back in the room or whatnot. And Stella actually is very happy because she's like she now has the confidence to do this. She's not having like panic attacks like when she's doing these photo shoots, and like she doesn't know if she would have done that if Christian was there.
Mhm.
Uh, but then on the last day of like the photo shoot of set, when the photo shoot wraps, Christian like comes to set, and they're like in a like an excluded area, like in Hawaii. And they acknowledge that they want each other. Christian like tells everyone you got 5 minutes to get to get up
That was so
to
funny.
leave.
But it
Uh,
might take a little longer. 5 Oh, now you have 3 minutes.
he literally said that.
Got it.
No, you're right. He literally was like 5 minutes. You now have four. You now have three, and they somehow managed to like get off. They did get off the island.
It
And
was
they
very,
now
It was very like Devil Wears Prada, where she was like, like that one scene where she's like looking for a file or something,
Oh, yeah.
and she's like, "Please move at a glacial pace." You know how I love that. I was like, "Oh my god."
Oh, yes. That is how it went. Um, and so they acknowledge that they like each other and that they want each other, and so they kiss. Um, Things get a little spicy, but they don't have sex. So Christian just essentially does a lot of stuff to her, but they do not have sex. This is not their sex scene. They have to stop because they have to go to the rap party. Obviously, because Stella is like the main person, like she has to be there.
Yeah.
So it is now after the rap party, and they're back at home. Christian's like, "Do you have any other plans for tonight?" And she's like, "No." Christian asks Stella, "Do you want to have sex or do you want to get fucked?" And she says, "I want to get fucked." And then it turns into a very spicy chapter. And I do want to say, last episode I was like, Josh like does it rough and like he's like the worst, whatever. And then I honestly did forget about some of this because you were like, no, Christian was. Um, After like rereading this, Christian does. I think they do like rough sex too, but I do think like the scene with Jules, I do think I don't know was overall like a lot more than this. It's a spicy chapter, and he gives it to her rough. That's what she
Requested.
asked for.
Yeah.
But I do think out of all four of the girls, for the first time that they're doing it, I do think Stella's is like the most romantic. Ava was in the penthouse after she had a panic attack in a pool. Bridget was in the gazebo in rain, in an open gazebo with rain. Jules was Josh, like they were arguing and he pushed her into her house to fuck her, like on the in the living room.
Yep.
Stella's in the villa in Hawaii, like after like a romantic kiss, a party, like
Yeah, after a little preview,
yeah.
what was to come.
So I think Stella had the most romantic.
I think so too, and I remember being kinda, like, shocked about that. Not, like,
Mhm.
shocked, but, like, not what I expected. Because the way they describe Christian, it's like, oh, he's, like, intimidating, like, scary security, like, he's morally gray, all that stuff, like, I really thought he was gonna be on the rougher side, but I was like, "Oh, this isn't, like, what I expected from him,"
Yeah, yeah,
but
it's a nice little.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, our girl Stella deserves it. So you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, this fictional character absolutely deserves it. So yeah.
yeah,
We'll talk about it now, but like in the chapters before this, Christian talks about how he doesn't like really believe in love. In this chapter specifically, he's like realizes that he's like falling for Stella, but like he's like he does not love her. And he like tells Stella this. Like he like just like doesn't believe in love. Christian has a lot of blood on his hands and he's not a good guy. He makes these comments often like throughout the book, and we find out in a little while we'll find out why he's not such a good guy, but he's just always referring like in his head how he like cannot taint her, which is why he can't have her. So Christian has, you know, some secrets that he got going on. And they extend their trip in Hawaii. They stay a little bit longer, but now that they're going back home, Stella like wants to know where they stand because they're supposed to be a fake couple. And
mhm.
Christian tells her, "Let me make a few things clear. Touch another man, he dies. Let another man touch you, he dies. Tell me I can't touch you, I will fucking die."
Righty then.
Or then, yeah,
Crystal
no one
clear.
couldn't be any more clear. Enough. They finally head home, and Stella takes Christian to go to Greenfield. They meet Mora, and they hit it off. Like you would have acted like, you know, Mora knew him for forever, like before her Alzheimer's. And I think this is very important to Stella because, like, right now her family kicked around. She has not spoken to her family. There are many times in the book where she quotes saying that like Natalia is her sister by blood, but like her sisters of choice are Ava, Bridget, and Jules. And so like she just, her family dynamic isn't like the best. She always feels like she's a failure with her family. And so like this is just like a very big like step for her because like her unofficial mother, loves Christian. It's just later that night. They're at a business event for Christian. And Stella gets that feeling again that someone's watching her, but again, she can't see anybody who like is like watching her who shouldn't be, but she's also like in a crowded area.
Mhm.
And at the end of the night, a man gropes Stella's ass, and Stella is like taken aback by it, and like Christian notices like something's weird. So like Stella tells Christian like this man groped her ass. And the next chapter, we discover how savage Christian is. Christian invites the man gropes Stella's ass, and he takes him to his satellite office, which is a soundproof room which he conducts business in. So let your mind do with that as it chooses. And pretty much he asks the man, like, what hand did you touch Stella's ass with? And the guy is like freaking out now, but he answers and is like, my right hand. And Christian drives a knife to this guy's hand. Because
I was like,
that's
"Holy
that's so
shit.
normal.
This guy's gonna
Uh,
die soon."
yeah. Christian then tells the man like he's gonna take all his money, he's gonna like donate it, all this stuff, and Christian then just like in his head sees this man touching Stella again, and he gets like pissed and grabs a gun and shoots him dead. So Christian did say though, if another man touches you, he dies. So he did uphold his end. He wasn't
He
bluffing. He was not
he
bluffing.
warned Stella, but he didn't warn this guy.
And not we're in the sky. Um, so Christian heads home like after he like kills this dude, and he's like on edge. But also keep in mind, Christian has all this stuff still going on with like his company, the competitor company. He's still trying to figure out like who is stalking Stella. So as he heads home, like Stella's finished talking to Julian, the lifestyle journalist. Uh, and Stella just finished her fashion line, so she's like really excited about it. But when Christian comes home, he's like a little bit distant, and Stella asks like, "What's wrong?" And he says like he had a bad day at work. I guess killing someone equivalates to a bad day at work. So, uh, and so she decides to make him feel better, and this turns into a spicy chapter. And pretty much Christian, not to like be explicit or anything, but Christian like takes her up against the glass of a penthouse, but like no one can see in because the windows are tinted. And they just essentially like, just fuck all over the glass, which honestly is kind of hot. Like no one can see in, but you can see out. I mean, not
I
gonna
know.
disagree. I'm
All
not
the
gonna disagree.
benefits without the and all the discreetness that you want.
Yes, yep.
Yeah.
Um, so back in his office, Christian, like again, he has to figure out a lot. He knows that his competitor created a similar device to his. And again, this is the same device that like he gave Stella to delete I'm sorry, that he gave Jules to delete the sex videos that like Max had on her.
Mhm.
But what he doesn't know is how his competitors like got this because this device that he has isn't on the market. Only a select few have like the blueprints to this. So he knows that he has a leak in his company, but he doesn't know. He has an idea of who it could be, and so Christian uh, plans on finding the traitor at the annual poker tournament that like all his like employees essentially go to, and he'll find this out by essentially giving the people who he thinks it is, he's going to give them all a different like information, and then the information that gets back to him is obviously the traitor. And Stella's stalker has sent Stella a few letters, but Christian has intercepted it, so Stella doesn't know. But then the stalker sends Christian a note saying, you can't protect her, you'll never have her, she's mine, and sends it with some recent photos. And so Christian, again, he's like pissed. He's like he is like, this is Stella's. Stella's his. So he's just like not having it. And so he does know that Stella is safe overall because he does have Brock watching her. But his job isn't to do surveillance. His job is to just protect her, like if she were to get kidnapped or whatever. So like he wouldn't see someone taking pictures from afar because like his job is strictly to watch Stella. So
Yeah.
Christian is like, he needs to get Stella out of DC. So he does so by taking her to Italy, which is like on her bucket list. So like Stella's like, yes, let's go. And they stay in Italy for like a month. And he needs us to like try to like get the stalker to come out. He needs us to like try to get the information to the people that he's trying to see who the traitor is.
Mhm.
So while they're in Italy, Stella and Christian visit like a few art galleries. And again, Christian doesn't necessarily like art, but he's going because Stella likes art and like really wants to go. And while they're at one of these galleries, he sees a little boy like trying to get his mom's attention, but the mom is just like paying attention to like the art and like taking pictures of the art and like essentially ignoring the little boy. And Christian is just like, I knew a boy who was like that. So Stella and Christian like leave. They go out for drinks and Stella like asks like elaborate more, on the little boy. Christian tells Stella about his family, and he tells Stella that his dad was a notorious art thief, the Ghost. And his dad got the nickname the Ghost because he stole dozens of priceless artwork without leaving like a trace of any evidence behind. And he operated almost a decade before the police finally caught him and shot him while he tried to flee. And the stolen artwork was never recovered. However, Christian's dad never loved art. His mom did. And because his dad loved her so much, he stole for her. And like the mom like encouraged it. And so like just during one of the heists, Christian's dad like tripped an alarm and that's how he was killed. But because his mom couldn't live without the dad, she shot herself in the head 2 days later. And then Christian's like, she chose death over me. And like, this is why he doesn't want to love anyone. Because he was like, if this is what love is, like, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Uh, to be fair, he was also a child. Like, his mom, they died when he was like 13. So he
Yeah.
became an orphan at 13. Yeah. His parents, were always, he found out before he was 13 that like his parents were, stole art and did all this. So like a lot you know, to just put on a child.
Mhm.
And then as Christian and Stella, like it's like nearing the end of their trip, Stella's always had a fantasy of being like tied up and blindfolded during sex. And so Christian takes Stella out like on a boat in like a super remote area to fulfill her spicy fantasy. And this turns into a spicy chapter. But this is like a nice spicy chapter. It's not like he's like when you think like blindfolded and tied up, you think like rough and whatever. And like
Mhm.
I think he was like so sweet with her. Like it's not like I don't know, it's not like a rough chapter. Like he was very sweet in fulfilling her fantasy.
Yeah,
The
for
this
sure.
whole time though, I thought the stalker was there and was like taking pictures of them. Everyone, that's not true. There was no stalker if you stayed in DC. But in my head, I was like, you're fucking on a boat. Someone's
I
definitely
know
gonna see you.
someone's gonna see you.
No one sees them. No one sees them. They're perfectly fine. While they're on the boat, Stella tells Christian that she loves him, but she knows how he feels about like that word and like what it means, and like he doesn't need to say it back. Just know that like she loves him. And so now they're back at home. And Stella gets a call from Greenfield that Mora had like a bad day and they had to sedate her. And like right after that phone call, her sister calls. Um, being like, "You're half naked in this photo shoot," because they're talking about the photo shoot from Hawaii. She's just like pissed. She's like pissed because again, her family hasn't contacted her since they got kicked out, and like her family finally contacts her, and her sister's yelling at her.
Mhm.
So Stella like needs to like release some stress. So she cleans and she goes into Christian's office and she starts to clean and she accidentally finds a hidden drawer. And in the hidden drawers are like folders or like binders. And they have her name written on them. And so she looks through them and in these like binder folder things, she finds everything about her life. She finds her life growing up. information about Mora, like people she's dated, um, and so much about things that she's posted on her blog and her social media. And for 2 seconds, Stella thinks that Christian is her stalker, but then she realizes like it can't be him.
Mhm.
Uh, but Christian is at this moment, like Christian is making her feel just as scared as her stalker has made her feel scared. So Stella's just starting to like think like maybe he has a good reason for this, but like this was still a huge invasion of her privacy.
Yeah.
Uh and like he didn't just look into her life, like he dug into like the people
Everyone.
around her. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, Alex did a background check on everyone when he was with Ava, so I guess it's a billionaire's thing to like do this, but yeah.
It's gotta be.
Uh,
Ava probably doesn't even know.
she doesn't. Even if Christian's not the stalker, he just crossed just as many boundaries and lines as a stalker. And so Stella packs a bag and she leaves. And when Christian comes home, he notices that Stella's missing. He calls Brock to see like where she is, and she's at Ava's house. And Stella's very smart because she went to the one place she knew Christian could not pay or force his way in because Alex would do anything for Ava. And if Ava said, don't let him in, Alex isn't gonna let Christian in. And it literally comes down to that. Like Ava answers the door when Christian's there and he's like, let me see her. And Ava's like, no. And he almost threatens Ava. And then Alex is like, don't finish that sentence. Like, and stands behind her. So Stella was very smart in like choosing which friend to go to in this.
It's like the T-Rex versus T-Rex fight in Jurassic
Yeah.
Park. Who's gonna win?
Uh Christian's like begging to talk to Stella. So like Stella finally lets him in and like we can chat for 2 seconds. We find out that like Christian has known Stella for 5 years. So like when we were saying earlier, like in quotes, like they just met 3 times, like no, it's been 5 years since he has essentially known her.
Yeah.
Uh 5 years ago, Stella got mugged, like in the park or whatever, and like before the mugger could like even get away, the mugger was like caught. And Stella, like when her purse was getting like returned to Stella, Stella learned that the kid who like stole her purse only did it because they were hungry, and so she felt bad for this kid. So she was like, "I won't press any charges," and she gave all the money that was in her purse to the kid. And as she walked away, she like dropped her turquoise ring. So that same ring that Christian keeps in his pocket every single day is Stella. And that's when he became infatuated with Stella. And he tells her that like, yeah, he ran a background check on her, but like outside of the initial background check, so like being like, this is your mom, this is your dad, these are your friends. He's like, everything else was posted online. He's like, I didn't, yeah, I invaded your privacy, but like, I wasn't like watching you in depth, like after that.
Yeah.
Which is still wrong. And Stella just tells him, like, you invaded my privacy. You didn't have my permission to dig into my life like that. Stella's also like, you're a closed book. Like, you barely let me in, but you know everything about me. You know my favorite flowers, like my favorite, like what I eat. And she was like, I thought you were being thoughtful, but no, it's because you just like already had that information. Like, and that goes to like their relationship, like how true he tells her like he won't say I love you, but he's pretty much told her that like he'll die if he is not with her. But like you didn't get to know her on your own free will either. Like you had all this on her.
Yeah.
And so Stella tells Kristen that that is worse than a stalker because at least her stalker never made her fall in love with him. And so she tells Christian to leave. She tells Christian like she knows that like the Brock will probably still follow her, but she's asking him to like not check up on her. Like she needs her space.
Yeah.
And so Christian agrees, but before he leaves, he tells her he loves her. A few weeks have passed, and Stella's mom finally calls Stella and asks if they can meet as a family, but something casual, so like not family dinner. So they end up meeting up at a diner. It's the poker tournament night. Christian is gonna execute his plan and like try to trap the traitor in his company. And now we go back to like the diner, and Stella like meets up with the family, and Stella apologizes. Her mom apologizes. Her mom was pretty much like, "Yeah, I was jealous and I didn't know how to respond to that, but like you're right, I wasn't there for you as a kid." And the family, like, leaves on good terms, like, they still have ways to go, but they essentially leave in good terms.
Mhm.
Because they haven't found the stalker, Brock is still, like, watching Stella, and Stella's okay with it because, like, she's like, "I need to be watched," but, like, as they're at the diner, like, she makes a comment that, like, "You look sick," and then he, like, runs and, like, starts puking in the bathroom, and then
Mhm.
Stella starts to feel sick, and she's, like, getting disoriented, and when she tries to get some fresh air, like, a man comes with her with a gun and essentially hits her over the head and kidnaps her. Then the chapter goes back to Christian, and this is, like, the thing that happened with, like, Jules and Josh. Jules was about to get mugged, and, like, the gun, and goes to Josh's chapter, and, like, the same thing happened here.
Yeah.
It's like Jules has or Stella has a gun to her, and she gets knocked over the head. She's like, "Everything goes black," and it's like Christian's chapter. I was like, "No, give me give me Stella's chapter." I was like, "No, go back." But we're at Christian's chapter, and he now knows who the traitor is. The traitor is Cage, someone he trusted that he, thought he's been with Christian since forever. So Christian
Mhm.
essentially is like following Cage, and he follows Cage like a junkyard, and Cage is meeting up with the person he's leaking the information to, which is the Stetnol, the CEO of the other company. And then after like the CEO leaves, Christian like confronts Cage, and Cage says he essentially did it because he's the reason the company is doing well, and he just is an employee, and all everyone ever cares about is Christian, and he just feels like he deserves more. And Christian was like, "I wish you betrayed me for like a better reason. Like you're an idiot." And of course, the only way to solve this problem is for both men to pull out guns and shoot at each other, because we do not use our words.
No,
Uh,
Cage had to die.
we do not use our words.
Had to
But
go.
during the gunfight, Christian gets a text from Brock. He knows that Stella's in trouble because Brock texts, like, he's like a code, and essentially the code is he cannot watch Stella right now, like something happened. So
Yeah.
he just kills Cage. He's like, we're gonna end this now. He kills him. And so Christian goes to the diner and he finds Brock. He's like puking his guts out. So Christian looks at the security footage and he sees Stella and Brock, but like when they first got to the diner and they like ordered coffee or tea or whatever, and he sees that something was slipped into their cups. And now he sees though who the stalker is, and it's someone who's very familiar. And then we go to Stella, and Stella's like waking up and she's tied up and she's like in a cabin, and she hears a voice that she recognizes very well. And like when she finally opens her eyes, she opens her eyes to her stalker, and it just so happens to be the DC lifestyle columnist Julian. And it turns out that Julian and Stella had a class together in college, and he was like, "We were always meant to be together. She is his everything." The reason why he stopped communicating with her and like stopped stalking her was because he needed to make something of himself. And now that he's like a very well known journalist, like he has now made something of himself. Uh, and so Stella like finds a nail by her hands. And so she like gets just Julian talking while she tries to like get free, like use the nail to like cut through her binds.
Mhm.
And it turns out that Julian also lives in the same apartment complex. Uh, it was his grandmother's unit that he inherited, and so that's why he was able to essentially give her all these notes and not get caught, was because no one was looking for someone who belonged at the apartment complex. Like
Yeah.
they were looking for someone who didn't belong there. Um, and he just Christian, I'm sorry. Julian keeps saying that like they're meant to be together. He just has to fix Stella so that like she can forget about Christian. Stella like breaks free and tries to escape, but like he catches her and they fight. Like he like bangs her head against their she's fighting for her life. He's hitting like it's a full on mess. And then he says that if he can't have her, no one can, and he like pulls out a gun. And like right before anything can happen, like Stella hears a gunshot, and then a door opens, and like Julian is taken off of her.
She
And
bite his ear or something?
yeah, she like bites his ear, she like scratches. She does fight back. She does. Like she gets some punches in. When Christian sees him, he's very proud of Stella for like trying to put up a fight and like trying to protect herself. But when Stella sees him, she like essentially just like runs to him because she just needs to feel safe at this point. Like she was literally kidnapped, she was drugged, kidnapped, assaulted. Christian takes Stella back to his place where he has a doctor who he has on call for these types of issues. So, just have a doctor in your back pocket.
No questions
Uh,
asked.
yeah. So Stella has a few cuts and bruises and a concussion, but overall she's okay. And Christian asked Stella to stay the night, and it's so he can make sure that she's okay. And she does, and they slowly start to talk about just like when they were broken up, they just start to talk. Christian tells Stella that when the cops found his mom, they also found a letter. And in the letter, she left them something, and she left them the painting, the Magna, which is something she painted. And it's actually worth nothing. It's an ugly painting that's worth nothing. Christian forged the documents to make the painting more important than what it really is, but he's showing Stella that he's letting her in by like telling her that because no one knows this. And so she has a concussion, she's hurt, so she's like, I'm gonna go to bed. So like they just go to sleep. The next morning, Christian invites Ava and Jules over because he knows that like Stella needs people right now and he needs to leave. And Stella knows that Christian's gonna go do something with Julian, and she essentially is like, I don't know what it is, but I'm okay with whatever it is. Like Julian digged his grave. Before he leaves, Christian tells Stella to like look in a drawer that she found her files in, that there's something there for her. And so then after like Ava and Jules leave and they like, FaceTime Bridget in, Stella goes to the drawer and she finds out that Christian wrote a letter to her every single day that they were broken up. And each of the letter he writes something about his life that like he's never opened up to anybody in. So like she reads like the good, the bad, the ugly. Then we jump to Christian's chapter. And after Christian leaves Stella, he goes to a warehouse. Not only does he have a satellite office, he has a warehouse where he conducts business that is soundproof. And Julian was already being tortured by Christian's men, but they left him sane enough so that Christian could torture him. Long story short, Christian kills him. So he touched Stella, he died. Meanwhile, like Stella texts Christian and tells him to come home. So like after he kills Julian, Christian goes home and she tells him that like she's like gonna accept him and like accept all of him. And Stella thinks to herself that like the world isn't black and white, no matter how much I wish it was. Sometimes we find our happiness in shades of gray. And I think that's so appropriate because all the girls are dating morally gray men. So
Oh, yeah. Christian
and
the most.
Christian definitely the most. Then Alex, then Reese, then Josh. That's the
Yeah.
bottom of that bag.
Because
Um,
Christian has a list of people, like you said earlier, that if he's, like, stressed out, he'll go after, like, someone on his list
mhm,
and, like, destroy their lives.
yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, he has this list he knows these are bad people, but he just lets them be bad, continue to be bad until he decides he's, like, pissed off enough to go ruin their lives. Otherwise, he could just stop the madness and stop other people getting hurt because of these bad people at once, but no, he's like, "I'm gonna need this." Like,
I actually didn't think of it that way, and you're so right. He is waiting. He's letting them continue their badness until he decides to be like executioner or
yeah,
whatever, like the Punisher. Oh, good point.
because he knew this, like, whichever one CEO he said, like, was assaulting his
Mhm.
assistant or something. I'm like, he probably assaulted other women while you decided that you're like, "I'm gonna do him next." You could have
Honestly,
prevented that.
honestly, that's great information. I never thought of it that way. And there's more. He does like when they break up, I think they say that like he goes to like 5 a day or whatever. Like he like takes all these people because he needs to relieve stress. So like you're right.
Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Sir, you're literally the worst." I mean, like, they don't make us think he's the worst, but, like, hello?
Yeah. I mean, I don't yeah. Josh is my favorite, so whatever, but new side of Christian. that I didn't see. Oh, you're right. Huh. All right. I have to think about that now. Now I have to like ponder that in the back of my head. It's now October, and it is Ava and Alex's wedding, and everyone is together. So Ava and Alex are there, Bridget and Reese, Jules and Josh, Stella and Christian, and they're like bickering and they're talking like they've all been friends forever, including the men. It just goes to show like how their friendship's gonna like evolve later on from this. After the wedding, Christian takes Stella to a warehouse where his parents stored all the stolen artwork. Christian brings his mom's painting and he burns it. And this is uh his way of telling himself and Stella like he's moving on. He's not going to be haunted by the past, like he's letting his parents go. Then we go to it's a year later. Stella showing off her fashion line in Milan, and 2 days after the fashion show, their Christian proposes to her. So gets her nice little ending. And then we reach the epilogue. I will say this epilogue is different because since it's the end of the book, all the other books, the epilogue was essentially just about the people in the book and how the book was going to advance to the next book. But because now the series is done, we get like everybody's story and it's very nice. I like it. But in this epilogue, it's 4 years later. Stella's brand has taken off. And then Christian says, and I have this bolded because you mentioned this like in like the first episode or second episode when we recorded this, but you were like, they all have to be each other's friends, and the men like don't like each other's friends. Like that's not. You said something along those lines, like they have to like their friends. And so Christian like thinks this to his head in his head, but he's like, no one told me about when I got married how much I would have to interact with my wife's friends. And so
Do you
every year they
mean?
take every year they take turns hosting the holidays, and this year, everyone is at Bridgerton and Reese's home in Costa Rica. Josh and Jules are engaged. Ava and Alex have 3-year-old twins. Bridget and Reese have a daughter, and she's supposed to be like the most because you know she's like a princess, so she's like
Mhm.
the most sophisticated daughter, and she has to be younger than 3, so I'm assuming 2 at this point. Stella and Christian find out that night that they're pregnant. It's the end of the book, but all the friends will always be together every Christmas.
I thought
End
that
of
was
book.
sweet. I was like, "Aw." And
Aw,
then
yeah.
he was like, "I thought you hated children." He's like, "Not our kid. Our kid is gonna be better than all those other kids in the other room." Like, "Okay."
He does. He did because the twins are like fighting or
Crazy.
doing whatever, being annoying. The little princess is doing whatever. Yeah, and then Chris is like, our kid's gonna be the best kid.
Yeah, hands down.
Um, yeah, all the kids are gonna be rich except for Jules and Josh's
Josh.
kid. But you know, just like Josh was invited to a princess's wedding, a queen's wedding, who
Yeah,
had no reason to be,
he has
their kid.
they're getting all the benefits of their rich friends for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, definitely. Okay, so now it is time for our sassy topics. So first question, this book centers a lot on honestly, I think this book centers a lot on anxiety, just in like how to handle your anxiety. But I think another thing that is very important is like boundaries and privacy. And so my question to you is, how important are privacy and boundaries in a relationship? And are there any times where it's okay for one of the people in the relationship to cross that boundary or line?
No. I will say in my relationship, um, I don't have a lot of privacy, but that's because I don't, like, need it. But, like, with Adolfo, like, I don't have any, like, issues with, like, just, like, giving him my phone or, like, even if he takes it without asking, like, I don't really care. But I know a lot of people like, people are different, like, people have those boundaries, like, I'm not.
Well, you don't feel like you have those boundaries because you're not hiding anything. So, like, when he takes
Yeah,
it, it doesn't bother you because you're not hiding anything.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, it is important. Like if you do set those boundaries, like they should be respected for sure. And if
Yeah.
they don't, then that's a that's an issue.
I have to agree. I think privacy and boundaries I think are important for whatever reason. But we're not for whatever reason, but like they are important in a relationship.
Yeah.
I think everyone just for your own self though, like you should definitely have a line that like that is yours and no one should be crossing it. But I do think, like you were saying, you have to trust a person enough where like if they were to grab it, your
Yeah.
phone or whatever, you're not hiding anything, right? Like same with me, I'm not hiding anything. So I'm sure, first of all, I Christian would hate me because I feel like if someone tried hard enough, they can get into my shit. Let me be honest. Um, I'm sure if he tried hard enough, he would figure out my password without my face for my phone. Not a hard. It is not a hard code that I have. But I also don't think I'm hiding anything or I have anything to hide. So like, if he were to like, I'm not hiding anything. So,
Yeah.
um, I do think I'm an open book sometimes too. So, I agree. I do think it's important to have it. Um, but you also shouldn't be hiding anything. You need to be open with your other.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think so. I agree.
yeah. All right. Final time I'm going to ask you this question. I asked every single time, I'm going to ask it again. Is Christian toxic?
Hmm. Christian is definitely he's more than toxic. He's problematic. Like he's like a vigilante,
Yeah,
but
Batman.
like worse. Because at least vigilantes will like take care of the problem or whatever they see as a problem right away when they find out or try to. This guy's just holding on to crimes until he wants to relieve some stress.
Mm.
So, but then they make you feel like okay about it because all these people that he's doing these things to are bad people. So I'm like, okay, at least he's doing something eventually.
Mm.
But yeah. Plus he treats
Uh,
Stella really good. So like you forget about all those other things.
uh, he does treat Stella very, very good.
Mhm.
But no, Christian is toxic. He is the most toxic out of all of them. I think Stella took him back too quickly. I mean, being like just completely honest, like Ava, like when she found out that stuff about Alex, it was like almost a year had passed. Like Alex had given up his company to like go follow her, like, and he like proved to her that he was gonna be good. Reese and Bridget really didn't have anything, like they couldn't be together because of status. Like there was like no secret or whatever, but like right away, Reese like proved he was always gonna be at Bridget's side. Josh and Jules, when like Josh wanted her back, Jules made him wait, a while, not as long as Ava, but like definitely made him like wait. But I think Christian crossed multiple lines. He crossed the line of he's like literally killing people. He is, like you said, he's like a vigilante. He's followed her for 5 years essentially. And I think only like 2 or 3 months passed. I forgot. I mean, it was a time, but it was like, oh, I forgive you. And I feel like you were already forgiving him slowly because you missed him, but like you also forgave him in a time that you were vulnerable. You literally just got kidnapped and got like you had a concussion and like he came and saved you. Like, no, girl, you need to think some more.
Let's
Also,
pause.
yeah, like let's press pause. Also, every other person, again, maybe not for Bridget and Reese because like they weren't together because of status.
Hmm.
But like when Josh apologized and like did all this, Jules needed time. Same with Ava and Alex. Like when Alex like apologized, she needed time. You found the letters that he and, was trying to forgive him, you're like, "Come home." Girl, like, process that. Like, you still got family issues, you're dealing with your family, you need 2 seconds to you just got kidnapped, like, no, girl, like, go drink some wine on a rooftop somewhere and, like, bask under the stars and think about life, like,
Yeah.
like
She's, like, reading these letters of, like, prof of him basically, like, just, like, professing his love, right? And then as she's, like,
Mhm.
reading it, she's like, "Oh, texting him while he's killing someone." She knows it.
And she
"Hey,
knows
come
it. She
home.
uh,
I forgive you.
w
I know you're not doing crazy shit right now, but"
in his warehouse that is soundproof in the middle of nowhere. Uh, with that being said, I'm totally here for all of this for fictional purposes, like, absolutely, like, he wants
Yeah,
to kill a man in your honor and it's fake, I'm here for it, it's fictional. I will be watching all the Netflix, when this comes out, I'm gonna love it all, so can't wait to see how they spin this series.
dun,
Since
dun.
this will be a series that Netflix is picking up, we are going to cast who we think should be each person, and I do wanna do, like, a disclaimer, I know you said you found a Stella, and I found a Stella, and hopefully, like, whoever we pick, whoever you're gonna tell me right now, like, hopefully she gets picked, maybe the girl I have gets picked, but I do wanna just have, like, this little, like, disclaimer. Maybe Stella is someone who hasn't, like, broken out into the acting world just yet or is not as a big known actress yet. Because I do wanna say Stella's supposed to be, like, black. I either don't know if it was Japanese or Chinese, but she's, like, black, Asian, I think they say Puerto Rican,
She's, like,
something
mixed.
like
Yeah.
yeah, she's beyond mixed, and I hope that, like, Netflix can find as close as they can to this person's ethnicity because I do think representation is important.
Yeah.
And like this girl is mixed with like everything. So like hopefully they can find that. But who do you have for your Stella? I'm gonna laugh if it's the same person because it is very hard to find someone who's mixed with all these things.
I have potentially 2, but I feel like maybe one of them we might have the
Okay.
same person. I don't know, I'm gonna
Okay.
guess. So one of them is Antonia Gentry.
Oh, I don't have her. Where is she?
She's from Ginny and Georgia, the daughter.
Oh, she's mixed? I mean, obviously she's mixed because I
I
watched Ginny
assume
in
she's
Georgia.
mixed, I have no idea actually, but she has
Oh,
the
no,
same
she's
hair.
definitely yeah, okay, that's true. She's definitely is mixed, but I thought she was mixed,
I should look
like,
it up.
white and black or something, not necessarily, like, Korean and black.
Oh,
But she
definitely
is
not Asian, I
definitely
don't think.
mixed. But she is gorgeous, though, so I'm here for that. She is gorgeous. Love Ginny and
Yeah,
Georgia.
yeah, she's cute. And then my second option was, like, Zendaya.
I actually don't have either one of them, so good job of picking someone else. I actually tried to find someone who I couldn't find anyone who didn't have, like, a Latina in her, because but I did find a Black and Asian actress.
Okay.
Um, so her name is Tati, Gabrielle.
Eva?
She was in I mean, she's in a lot of things, but where I know her from is The 100.
Oh, she's from
Uh,
You.
yeah, I don't watch that. That looks scary. I
You
don't
didn't get
do
oh,
horror
okay,
or
you should watch
anything.
that.
We established this. I don't do horror. That one looks scary. Not gonna watch it. But I
Oh,
did love The
step
100, and she played in
on.
it, and she was amazing. She's also apparently in The Last of Us, but I'm far like, I started The Last of Us. I don't think I've gotten to the episode where she's in yet, but,
Think I
I think she could
remember
do
her.
great. Loved her in The 100. So that was a great that show was cut prematurely. I wish it got, like, 5 more seasons, but it didn't.
I think I could see it. I think I would just need to see her with, like, the hair. Like, I feel like the in my
She
mind, the hair is important to me.
yeah, well, also, they could throw a wig on her.
Yeah.
So she does have naturally short hair, but in The 100, she had, like, dreads. So,
Okay.
like, they'll just, like, a wig on her or whatnot, so she'll be fine. But I think she is a great person for this character.
Yeah, I could see it.
They'll give her some green contacts because Stella has, like, green eyes, but she'll be
Yes,
fine.
those 2.
Yeah. Who do you have for Christian?
Christian, I have Theo James. He was from Divergent. Did you see Divergent?
Oh, yeah, the main character,
He's
is that the name?
he's 4. Yeah.
Oh! Oh, yeah, yeah, okay. I know I don't know a lot of actors by their real name, I know them by their, like, acting names. Okay, I can see it. I'm probably definitely gonna say this dude's last name wrong, but I have Michael Trevino. He was in The Vampire Diaries, so loved him
Yeah.
in it. He played Tyler Lockwood. He wasn't like a main character. Maybe like the first 2 seasons he was like a main character, and then he like came in and out afterwards. But I think
Mhm.
he looks like he could be rough.
Yeah,
Has
he
to be
definitely
around the
has
age
that
of
look.
30. Yeah. You have to be around 30-ish or whatnot. So I think he could play the role. All right.
I can see it,
Do
I
you
can
have
see it.
anyone for Cage?
No, I didn't get to the other guys. Oh, wait, no,
Okay.
Cage, potentially, um, hold on, I forgot his name. He's the guy from The Reacher, but I don't know if he was, like, maybe too old or would it mix with the other, like, the
Cage could be
cast?
whoever. They never said his age. He could be whoever. I think he could be whatever.
What's his
Yeah.
name? Alan Richson? He's
Mm.
like a big he's like a big dude, so he looks like a bodyguard and, like,
Oh,
kinda scary looking. Not scary, but, like, intimidating.
yeah. Uh, love it. Um, I am not gonna pronounce the person I have for Cage because I'm not gonna pronounce any of his name. However, in the book, they say he's like big like a mountain. So I am thinking the mountain from Game of Thrones, the dude whose name was literally the mountain. That is who should play Cage.
And I need to look him up.
But but um I'm gonna mess up all of his names. So like there's just like no way I'm gonna pronounce any of
Oh,
his names
yeah, I wouldn't
correctly.
try that either.
But the mountain. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah, he's
Mhm.
huge. Holy smokes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's who I have. Okay, who do you have for Julian the stalker?
Okay, these next 2, like, I couldn't get it.
Okay, that's fair. You'll have one by the time this episode posts, and I can make it on the cast list, so it's fine.
Okay,
For Julian, I have it's this is okay. Hear me out. This is where I was going with mine. I picked a person who I think doesn't necessarily look like stalkerish, like looks like sweet and innocent, but I picked it because Julian is supposed to be like DC's lifestyle columnist who's like well known, everyone like loves.
mhm.
But I picked Adam Devine or Delvin. How do you say his name?
The
But
guy
he's
from
like he
Pitch
always
Perfect?
yeah. And Righteous Gemstones, oh my gosh, if you have not seen Righteous Gemstones, please see it. It is the most inappropriate, hilarious um, show. It's on
I've heard of it.
HBO. Go watch it. Yeah. But I think he would play like a good because everyone's supposed to like love him essentially, and then he turns out to be crazy.
Yeah, I could see him being a little crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last person I have on the list, because I was debating if we should like cast like Brody and like Stella's family, but I try to cast people who like affected the plot overall. And I don't think Stella's family like overall like it sucked. She had insecurity issues because of them, but like I don't think they overall impacted the plot. But I
Mhm.
do think the person that did impact the plot a little bit more was Moira because that was her mom. She was the whole reason why her real mom felt like insecure of this. So I do think she's gonna be just like super important. So I know you don't have anyone for her, but I have Renee Victor. Um, she was in Coco, but she was the abuelita. She was the grandma. But I know her from With Love. It was a Prime show. I loved it.
Okay.
Highly recommend you see it. We need more shows that cover Latin families. But I think she'd be good at that because she's supposed to be like a little bit older, Alzheimer's. And I like her. But yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. And that's all I have. So our time has come to an end, Vanessa. How are you feeling about that?
4 books. It
4
was a
books.
journey.
It was a journey for y I had to reread all the books and, like, make notes. It was definitely a journey for me. Um, but thank you for being free every week to record this, for being a good friend, for having dialogue with me, all of this. I'm sure I put you outside of your comfort zone a little bit, so thank you.
All good. It was fun. Thanks for having me.
Yay. Of course. I'm sure, I'll bring you back again. I have a feeling you're gonna wanna talk about Fourth Wing at some point, so
Yes,
I
I'm
will
still
have you
finishing the audiobook for Onyx
Onyx
Storm.
Storm.
Yep.
But you're doing, like, the for people out there, she's already read the book,
Yeah.
she's finishing the graphic audio version of Onyx Storm, which honestly, every book should have a graphic version because I need the different characters, I need all of it, it's amazing, but yeah. Okay, well, this is the last time we're gonna say, well, bye.